All right, welcome back to Ace Your RES exam.
Great to be diving into this.
Yeah, you're tuning in because you are, well, getting ready for that big RES exam, and today we're really zoning in.
On residential property marketing specifically.
Exactly. Think of this as your focus guide to Notes CU 3.7 marketing of residential properties.
We're aiming to pull out the absolute essentials, help you navigate this part of the exam.
And hopefully avoid some common slip-ups. I mean, this section, CU 3.7, it covers a lot, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely. From why someone's selling to finding listings, pricing, the actual marketing plan, and staying compliant, it's packed.
And given Singapore's property scene, it's always buzzing, right? So there's, well, a fair bit to get your head around for the exam.
True. It feels almost recession-proof sometimes.
Yeah.
Which means plenty for aspiring agents to learn.
Yeah. So, our mission today: squeeze the most vital info out of these notes. Give you that solid understanding, that edge for the marketing questions on the RES exam.
Sounds like a plan. Ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
Okay, so first up, Section 1.1. Understanding why people sell. Seems basic, maybe.
A little, but the notes argue it's fundamental. Knowing the reason helps shape how you market, how you talk to sellers.
Precisely. It's not just about snapping nice photos. You need that context.
Right. And the notes list quite a range, like upgrading. That's a big one in Singapore.
Oh, yeah. Bigger space, better location, moving from, say, a 3-room HDB to a 5-room, or even public to private housing. That aspiration.
It really taps into that desire for progress, maybe even a bit of investment thinking, too.
Definitely. So if you're marketing for an upgrader, you might angle it towards lifestyle improvement, future value, that kind of thing.
Then you have the flip side, downgrading.
Mm-hmm. Empty nesters, perhaps? Or people wanting something easier to manage? Maybe unlock some cash for retirement.
Makes sense. Less upkeep, more freedom. The notes also mention relocation, like moving closer to the kids or grandkids.
A common life stage change. But then there's the very Singapore-specific reason.
Ah, yes, selling in compliance with housing rules. You don't see that everywhere.
Absolutely not. Like having to sell your private property within 6 months of getting the keys to your new HDB flat.
Or selling your old HDB within 6 months after collecting keys for a new BTO.
Exactly. It's a key regulation, keeps the market moving in a particular way. Good exam fodder, that.
For sure. The notes also briefly cover other reasons, some less happy, like migration, financial situation, divorce, and unfortunately death.
Right. All part of the life cycle that impacts property decisions.
So for you listening, prepping for the RES exam, getting these motivations isn't just academic?
No, it helps you connect. Empathize. Whether someone's excited or going through a tough time, understanding their why builds trust. That's a skill they test implicitly.
Okay, so we know why. What about where do we find these properties to sell? Section 1.2, sources of listing.
Right. Where do the leads come from? The notes cover a mix, old and new.
Like newspaper ads. Feels a bit retro, maybe.
Maybe. But the notes say they still have reach, especially for certain demographics who aren't constantly online.
Good point. Can't ignore any channel. Then, referrals.
Always powerful. A recommendation from a happy client. That's marketing gold. Builds instant credibility.
Totally. Trust is everything here. Then there's developers' projects.
Yeah, those new launch condos. A great source, especially for finding buyers who might then need to sell their current place to upgrade.
Creates a nice little chain reaction.
Potentially. The notes also list door-to-door canvassing, bit more old school, direct.
Takes some guts, I imagine. And show houses or open houses for resale properties.
Classic method. Good way to meet active buyers, some of whom might be considering selling too.
See what's out there, get inspired, or maybe feel their own place isn't quite right anymore.
Exactly. And then the big one today. Multiple listing systems, real estate websites.
Can't escape those. Property Guru 99.co. That's where most people start looking now. Huge reach.
Undeniably. So knowing all these sources, from print ads to portals, shows the examiner you grasp the practical side of sourcing listings.
Right, that you know how the business actually works on the ground. Okay, let's shift to pricing. Section 2. This feels like a really crucial area.
It is. The notes split it into macro factors and micro factors. Understanding both is key to advising clients well.
So macro first, section 2.1, the big picture stuff, right?
Yeah, things affecting the whole market, like government policies. The notes mention TDSR, total debt servicing ratio.
Ah, the borrowing limits. That definitely impacts how many people can afford to buy and at what price.
For sure. It acts as a kind of brake, controlling demand, and there's the general economic situation.
Makes sense. Economy's good, jobs are secure, people feel confident.
They're more willing to make big purchases, like property. Drives up demand, pushes prices. Simple supply and demand, really.
And the notes mention demographic factors, too.
Yes, like the size of the population hitting marriageable age. More households forming means more demand for homes.
Just basic population dynamics.
Pretty much. And finally, social factors. Think lifestyle trends, changing preferences for certain types of homes or locations, like maybe more demand for work-from-home friendly spaces now.
Good point. Okay, so those are the big forces. What about the specifics? Section 2.2, microfactors.
Right, these are about the individual property itself, location, the classic, prime district versus the outskirts, huge difference.
Obviously. And age of property, newer, generally better.
Generally, yes, commands a premium, all else being equal, and tenure freehold versus leasehold. Freehold usually seen as more valuable long-term.
Because you own the land itself, essentially.
Correct. Then size, bigger place, higher total price, usually, though the notes add a nuance. The price per square foot might actually be lower for very large units.
Interesting. And they mention land shape for landed properties.
Yeah, a preference for regular rectangular plots, easier to build on, more usable space, I suppose.
Good detail to remember. What else? Facilities.
Big one for condos.
Yeah.
Pool, gym, tennis courts.
Yeah.
Adds to the lifestyle appeal and the price.
Naturally. And facing in view or orientation.
Definitely. High floor, unblocked view. People pay for that. And for landed, the notes even mention geomancy or feng shui consideration.
All right. The direction the house faces might influence some buyers' decisions.
Whether you personally believe it or not, if it affects buyers, it affects value. So you need to be aware. Condition is another micro factor.
Obvious but important. Needs repairs. Pests. That'll impact offers.
Nobody wants unexpected costs right after buying. Accessibility is huge in Singapore, too.
Proximity to MRT bus stops. Major selling point.
Absolutely. And finally, the neighborhood itself. What's nearby? Worker dorms or cemeteries might lower value, notes suggest. An exclusive area boosts it. Even things like population density matter for nearby shops.
Wow. Okay, so mastering both macro and micro is, well, it's essential for valuing property accurately and advising clients.
Exactly. These are core skills the RES exam is designed to test. You need to show you can analyze these factors. Got it. Let's move to Section 3 then. Special considerations for landed and non-landed properties. Gets a bit more technical here, maybe.
A little, yeah. It's about the specific rules and characteristics, starting with landed properties in 3.1. The notes talk about street block plans.
Okay, what are those exactly?
Think of them as URA's detailed guidelines for specific landed housing areas. They control things like land use, building height, setbacks from the boundaries.
Ah, so they maintain the overall look and feel of the neighborhood, prevent someone building something totally out of place.
Pretty much. Rational development, keeping things orderly. The notes also mention the landed housing area plan, which creates different zones.
Zones, like what?
Like good class bungalow areas or GCBAs, the super exclusive ones, minimum 1,400 square meters, max 2 stories high, only 39 designated areas like that.
Wow, the real top tier. What else?
Then you have regular bungalow areas, semi-detached areas, and mixed landed housing areas, which allow various types, even townhouses or cluster homes sometimes. There's a whole classification system, like a hierarchy for landed homes. Important to know which zone a property falls into.
Very. And a critical point for landed, mentioned clearly in the notes, foreign ownership.
Right. Foreigners generally need specific approval from the Singapore Land Authority, the SLA, to buy landed residential property here, under the Residential Property Act.
Exactly. It's restricted. Crucial rule to remember for the exam.
Okay, what about non-landed properties? Section 3.2, apartments, condos.
Right. The notes first distinguish between condominiums and apartments. A key difference is legal status. A condo will actually say condominium on its subsidiary strata certificate of title, the SSCT.
So check the title document. What about apartments then?
For apartments, especially older ones built before, say, 1968 under the old deed system, finding the exact unit size can be tricky. Floor area wasn't always on the title.
So you might need to dig a bit, maybe get a surveyor or check old PWD plans.
Could be necessary, yes. The notes mention the ownership structure under that old system can also be complex. Sometimes it's a share in the land, sometimes a leasehold interest, sometimes just the airspace. It varies.
Sounds potentially complicated.
Yeah.
What about modern condos?
For condos under the strata title system, the concept of share value is really important.
Share value. That determines your maintenance fees.
Yes, and your voting rights at AGMs. And critically, your proportion of the proceeds if the development is sold en bloc.
Ah, okay. So higher share value means you pay more monthly, but you get a bigger say and potentially a larger payout later.
That's the trade-off. The notes also stress checking the financial health of the development. Look at the management fund for routine expenses and the sinking fund for long-term repairs.
You don't want to buy into a place that's broke and can't fix things, right?
Precisely. Due diligence.
Hmm.
Check for any special levies, rules about car parks, recent bylaws passed by the Management Council, all relevant for a buyer.
Got it. So, yeah, this section shows you really need specific knowledge for different property types. Definitely exam-worthy detail.
No doubt about it.
Okay, moving on. Section 4 is quite brief. Matching best mode of sale.
Yeah, this one's straightforward. For resale residential properties, the notes say the most common method by far is private treaty.
Sounds formal, but it just means a direct negotiation, right?
Exactly. Between buyer and seller, usually facilitated by the salesperson that's you, your role is showing the place, handling offers, negotiating terms, getting the deal done.
The core job, essentially. And the exam tests your understanding of how that process works.
Yep. It underscores the practical side of being an agent.
All right, Section 5, the marketing plan. This feels like the heart of this whole topic.
It really is bringing everything together. The notes use the classic 4Ps framework.
The 4P. Okay, let's break them down. First P.
Product, which is the property itself. Focus here is on preparation, getting it ready for viewings, decluttering, cleaning, maybe minor repairs.
Making it look its best. And identifying the key selling points.
Exactly. What makes this property stand out? The notes also highlight having property fact sheets ready.
With all the key info. Floor plan, tenure, size, maybe valuation range, nearby amenities.
All that essential data makes it easy for buyers. Second P is price.
We touched on pricing factors earlier. Here it's about setting the asking price.
Right. And the notes heavily emphasize using a comparative market analysis, or CMA. Look at recent sales, current listings, what didn't sell.
Ugh.
Be realistic.
And the notes warn against sellers wanting to price too high.
Big warning. Overpricing often backfires. The property sits, gets stale, and might eventually sell for less than if priced right initially. Honest advice based on data is crucial.
Tough conversations sometimes, but necessary. Okay, third P.
Promotion. How do you get the word out? The notes list a whole toolkit.
Like what?
Classified ads still.
Yeah.
Signage, direct mailers, maybe a show flat or open house. SMS blasts, but remembering DNC rules.
The do not call registry. Very important compliance point.
Crucial. Then online listings, maybe road shows, social media like Facebook, direct selling. It's usually about using a mix of these tools.
Makes sense. Cast a wide net. Final P.
Place, which in this context means the channel you, the salesperson. And a key part of your role here is negotiation.
Right, bringing the buyer and seller together on price and terms.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the notes stress discussing negotiation strategy with the seller beforehand.
What do you mean? Like, what's the absolute minimum price?
That, yes. But also, how to handle different scenarios. What if you get a full price offer on day one? What about multiple offers? What if offers are low? What if the price is okay, but the terms aren't great?
Plan for different possibilities. Smart.
Very. So, nailing these 4Ps, creating that solid marketing plan, is fundamental, a big focus for the RES exam, for sure.
Okay, almost there. Section 6 and 7 are about compliance.
Yes, basically reminding you to follow the rules. Section 6 mentions HDB policies, MOP, EIP, SPR quotas.
Minimum occupation period, ethnic integration policy, PR quota.
Yeah, lots of HDB rules. The notes say details are in other CUs, though.
Correct, just acknowledging their importance here. And Section 7 emphasizes complying with rules from URA, HDB, and other relevant authorities, especially regarding advertising. It points back to CU 3.4 on ad regulations.
Right, you can't make misleading claims in your ads or listings. Got to be accurate and ethical.
Absolutely non-negotiable. Being licensed means upholding standards. The exam will expect you to know your obligations.
Okay, phew. That was a pretty thorough run-through. So just to quickly recap for everyone listening and studying.
We looked at why people sell residential property, the different places you find listings, those big macro and specific micro factors affecting price.
The special things to know about landed versus non-landed homes, the usual way sales happen via private treaty.
How to build a marketing plan using the 4 Ps: product, price, promotion, place.
And finally, the absolute need to comply with all the regulations from HDB, URA, and others. Hopefully, breaking it down like this helps solidify the key knowledge from CU 3.7 for your RES exam prep.
Yeah, we really hope this deep dive gives you more confidence for that marketing section. Maybe you'll even casually drop street block plans into conversation one day.
Well, first things first, use this knowledge to ace the exam. Keep reviewing, focus on understanding the concepts.
Definitely. And on that note, from both of us, truly the very best of luck with your upcoming RES exam. You've got this.
Absolutely, go smash it.
Now, before we sign off, a little something to think about. We talked about all those micro factors affecting property prices, locations, size, condition, view, etc. In today's Singapore market, which one of those micro factors do you personally believe has the most weight, the biggest impact, and why?
Interesting question.
Give it some thought. It might just spark some deeper insights. Until next time on Ace Your RAS exam, study smart and good luck.